So now it's time to learn this command. So it's done over the network. Now here's a tricky thing. Make sure you have chosen to use your learning port, your sensor, as your IR learning port. As you see, you could actually learn through all 6 multifunction ports. They're not powered, so you would use an IR connecting block. But it's kind of a nice fail-safe, isn't it? Just in case you were to have greasy fingers and drop your master controller and hear a little IR sensor rattling around in there, perhaps. We will enter Start Learning mode. And as you press that button, it holds blue so that you're able to tell that it's currently tied up on the network here. And what I do is I just hold my IR remote about 4 to 7 inches off of the face of the MC1000. Always helps to have a dimly lit room. And I will press the code just nice and lightly. And each time I press it here, I'm getting my codes. And look, some of them weren't recognized. I pressed a little lightly on these, didn't I? I could just press this X to get rid of them. And if I'd like, I could continue learning since I'm still in that learning mode. But I'm not really so concerned about that because I have 2 really good samples. And I see that they recognize the NEC protocol on them. So what I do is adjust according to protocol. Why? Because we know what the world's perfect NEC formatted commands look like. And so we adjust what you've learned against that perfect command. And here's what the hex looks like in burst data, 20 milliseconds long, 36 pulses. And in burst data, now this is not Pronto hex. This is our own proprietary hex. And now I press OK. So, of course, I'd repeat that for the whole keypad. Or I could go to this output 1 after I do that and add some functions there, which if you remember, there were 6 buttons per output. So we look here, so here's our output 1 commands, 2K quadrant mode, 4K quadrant mode, and output 1, select input 1, 2, 3, or 4. So here we are, input 1, output 1. That's output is indicated with the greater than, less than caret. And you notice we don't go any higher than input 4. Why? Because you've already defined that this is a 4 input product. Now this is something you do only if you're using a matrix, for example, or a multi-zone device. It's not necessary if you're using just a standard remote, of course, because DVD player, for example, cable box, they don't have outputs and inputs necessarily. Now I can come over here and again, sensor, this is the IP address of my master controller. Learn this command, and I'm still in that start learning mode. I could stop it if you'd like. Then begin it again. Okay, it's held blue there. Output 1, input 1. Collect a few samples on that. You notice it's very nice that you could actually see all of these here. Now this one looks pretty similar, but not quite as perfect that we recognize the protocol. So I just adjust that to the NEC. And now we have that command. And now we could use those methods we showed you before to test that function with the device if you have that available.